Hello Internet, AdoptedMike here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at this case. This is the XION XON 560 Micro ATX tower, and as you can see it has a white and black theme going on, so it actually works out pretty good with the black DVD drive that I've installed in it. I've already built a system in this, and I just kind of wanted to go over some of my thoughts as I built it and show you what it looks like and some of the potentials of this case. But anyway, we've got three 5 1/4 inch snap out bay covers there. However, it should be noted that this one is only a 3 1/2 inch behind there, so it's kind of weird if you were to remove that and install a 3.5 inch bay device. There really isn't anything else to fill the gap in. I was kind of expecting to see, just this part pop out so that the bay device would fit in there, but no. So definitely would be kind of interesting to put a 3.5 inch bay device in there. It just wouldn't quite work. But we have a 120 millimeter intake fan down there, which has got a little bit of a dust filter to help out. And then up on the top we have a power button. We've got USB 2.0 headphone microphone, another USB 2.0 there, and then a lone USB 3.0 port all by himself. And we have a reset switch. Spinning around to the left side, you can see here we can mount some fans. This will take 4 80 millimeter fans or one 200 millimeter fan in the side there. I've chosen not to populate that at all. Up top we also have the option to put a fan in there. This fan did not come with the case. It just had a front filter, or a front filtered intake, and then it has also had a rear fan installed there as well too as an exhaust. We've got some grommets here for cables or water cooling hoses. Let's try that. And we've got 4 PCI slots there to round out the back. And yeah, I misplaced my I/O cover. And then on this side we have the same as the left side, just without the screw holes, so it's kind of weird to be that way, but yeah, I guess it sort of works to have that open, ventilated there. So anyway, let's get inside and take a look. Okay, so popping off the front panel we can take a look. No wires attached, so that's awesome. And then here we have a little bit of a dust filter, a little bit of a mesh in there. It's kind of not showing up on the camera very well, but you may be able to see beyond there. There's kind of a little screen, and that obviously could be easily vacuumed out from the front here. These 5 1/4 inch bay covers, they do not have any kind of dust screen whatsoever, but definitely where the fan is, at least there is enough of one here to help out. So here we are, all stripped down. We'll take a look here. You can see we've got a modular power supply installed to ease on the cable clutter there. We'll take a look at the Micro ATX board there, and that's a Micro ATX board with 4 RAM slots, so you can see how that the wider Micro ATX board fills up the inside there. And we'll start off here. This is kind of a unique SSD mount. I thought it was interesting anyway. Pull a thumb screw there, and then the SSD kind of mounts to the other side of this panel here, which is kind of different, but I'll show you why. It's because they figure that you can get a longer graphics card in there if you choose to. I mean, obviously these wires would be in the way, but they could be worked around a little bit differently, and then a longer graphics card could go in there, potentially extending past what normally would be the end of the case. But honestly, if you look here, we got room for 10 inches, so I suppose you could get an 11-inch graphics card or 12-inch graphics card in there if you wanted to get a monster card. But honestly, I think I would have just rather have done without this side panel here and just had it, you know, completely open in this area. You can see down here there was still room for two 3.5-inch hard drives could be installed, but you could also mount a 2.5-inch hard drive on one of those 3.5-inch frames anyway. So you know, I guess this is kind of a unique design, but I would rather have seen a little different. And then as far as optical drive mounting, it actually mounts with little rubber washers here to reduce vibration, which I kind of thought was unique. You don't see a lot of cases doing that. Let's see if we can get it on camera there anyway, but they come with their own specialized screws, and they're pre-installed washers, so you just put the drive in and screw it down. That'll get a good look there. Now we'll take a look at mounting the hard drives. So here we have the hard drive mounting tray, and it's kind of unique in the fact that you pop this little plastic piece out here, and that's where it's got some pins. They are plastic pins, so they will break off if you're not careful. And then over here as well too, there's some rubber vibration dampening deals there. You can also mount an SSD, like I said before, with those holes there. But basically, we come in, pop the drive, then you come back over to here, make sure the holes are lining up, and snap it back together just like that. And back here on the other side, and then you have your drive, which then in turn will mount in there from this way right there. And there we go. So then you can have another one in there as well too. Now let's take a look at the other side of the case. One other thing I'd like to mention too before moving on is there is no filter for the power supply, which is why I have the power supply pointing face up in this particular build. Had there been a filter, or had I installed a filter, I should say as well too, then I would be mounting it the other way so it can draw cool air up from the bottom. We'll take a look here. Anyway, you can kind of see what we have there. So something magnetic maybe to stick to the bottom of the case would surely change that anyway to where we could configure it where it was pointing down and drawing in cold air from the bottom. So here's the back side of the case. You can see the hard drive I just installed there, as well as some of the cable management area. One thing I want to point out, and there is just about no room back there for the cable management. The only way that it works actually is because the side panel, like we showed before, is actually sticks out a bit. So basically this is where the cable management kind of comes into play there. Unfortunately though, it's also like this and vented, which is kind of odd. But I mean, as we can see obviously from the other side panel, I mean, it's basically the same pattern, just without the holes drilled for fan mounts. So that's how the wire management works in this case anyway. So basically you got to get it all within this area, and then you're allotted I don't know, maybe not quite a half an inch there, and then maybe a quarter of an inch within inside of the case. So that'll show kind of the what we got going on there for the cable management anyway. And we'll flip it around to the back side and take a peek at that. There we are. I did not like the fans that were included, so I popped them out and put some little bit better air flowing fans in that I had laying around. But here we can see the back side of the case all wired up and ready to go. And then I actually misplaced the rear I/O shield, so I'll have to dig that out and then obviously install it, but that's why it's not there for this video. And also too, on the top, I'll point out that this does not come pre-installed, but I put another fan in there to help some airflow within the case. Okay, let's spin it around to the front. Now, I did like the way the front of the case came together, being when the front panel comes off, all of this stays here, so it actually comes clean off, and that helps not have to have all the wires pulling out of it. So I did like the way that worked out for me. And then you can see here we have another 5 1/4 bay, and then the 3.5 inch bay that I'm not using either of. And I also replaced the front panel fan because it was a white LED fan stock, but I wanted something with a little more power. And then I also installed this. This fan was a little louder than I wanted it to be, mostly because of the restriction. You can see it's kind of restrictive back there, unfortunately. So I wanted to be able to, I'm going to mess around with it when I fire it up anyway, to get the fan speed where I want it to be so it's not overly loud. Obviously, when a fan starts to ramp up a lot, when it can't push anymore, then it starts to make a lot more noise. So I'm just going to get it to where it's pushing through and not spinning too fast with the fan controller. And this actually does completely fit behind the front panel there. So that's how that turned out. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So in conclusion, this case is actually pretty good for the price. When I bought it, I paid $30 for it with free shipping, depending on where you're at and when you watch this video. It could be less, more, or possibly even discontinued. The build quality is pretty good. I mean, it's always hard to match up plastic and metal. The white there, you can see it doesn't quite match up, at least in my eyes. It doesn't. Might not show up very well on the camera, but I like the black front. I was able to use a black drive without drawing too much attention of it away. If that had been white, it'd have been a little harder to use the black drive. Used black fans, so that worked out pretty good. I like how it came out. I do. It seems like it'll have decent airflow. I wish it did a little bit better as far as dust management. The open side panels, both sides, as we saw before, definitely aren't going to help the fact trying to keep dust out. But yeah, anyway, definitely worth the price in my opinion, especially if you get it for that $30 including shipping. It's pretty solid. I've definitely felt thinner cases before as far as the metal. They've been a little flimsy. This one doesn't feel flimsy. It feels pretty sturdy for the price. I definitely wouldn't be afraid of putting my PC hardware in here and using it for one of my personal builds. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. If you didn't, give me the thumbs down. And in the comment section below, tell me what you think about this case, or what you think of the looks and how everything worked out. And as always, thank you for watching.